What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 90 of Talking Shit. My name is Barrett Courtney. I'm one of your hosts, and here joined with me are my incredible co-hosts and even better friends, the bisexist from Texas, Henry Machero. And over here is my favorite chunky punk, Ricky Balazan.
Hi.
Wow, what have you guys been doing this week? I feel like I have not talked to you once at all since we last recorded.
I was in Sacramento.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, you had me go take out Lola
Yeah.
that one time.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I bet it was fucking exhilarating.
It was riveting.
Yeah, I bet.
Alyssa was like, why do you have to go? And I was like, it's going to take like 10 minutes. They live like 5 minutes away from
2
us.
seconds.
I know.
Thanks for doing that again.
Yeah.
And thanks Henry because he did it the day after because I was still out there.
Yeah, you had asked me and I couldn't do it the second time because I was working that day. So
Yeah. But I was out there for a little bit, and then I've spent the last 2 days with this guy.
All you have to do to make Lola poop is turn your back while she gallops like this.
Yeah, that's pretty much how.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like I had stayed out with her for a while just to make sure in case you wanted to go to the bathroom. If you don't know, Lola is Ricky's girlfriend's mom's dog.
Yeah.
So I had stayed outside with her for about like 10 minutes, and she had like gone number one, but she didn't go number two at all.
Yeah, sometimes she'll like just be a dick or get distracted and not want to
do anything.
Do her job as a dog.
You're failing at your job, dog.
You had one job.
Fired.
And it was to go to the bathroom when I take you out.
And set your button for a nuttin'.
Yeah.
So we're recording a little late today.
Yeah.
That's my fault.
A little bit.
So I got Star Wars The Force Awakens yesterday. And I told myself, even before Force Awakens came to my house, I was like, I want to watch the original trilogy again before I watch Force Awakens. And so yesterday, I had already watched A New Hope, so I still had Empire, Jedi, and then Force Awakens. So, and I'd come home probably around 2 or something. I had to do some work when I got home, and then so I started watching them around like 3:30. And let's see, I took like little breaks in between like each movie. Like after Empire, I did some dishes. And then after Jedi, I
wasn't even watching Empire Strikes Back. He was just watching Empire, the show. And he was like, what does this have to do with Star Wars?
I was really confused.
Why is everyone rapping?
And then after Return, I had dinner with Alyssa. And then finally watched Force Awakens. And so by the time Force Awakens ended, it was about midnight. And then after that, I decided to write the script for BCG News, which I always do write the day before we record it. And then after writing the script for BCG News, I was like, I want to write a thought piece on like a retrospective piece of like Force Awakens, like watching it for the first time in a couple months and sort of like gathering my thoughts on it, like sort of finalizing my thoughts on it, like going forward into the future of like, does this hold up for me? Does it still like, is it for me? Does it feel like a real Star Wars movie and stuff? So by the time you're either listening to this or watching this, it should be up, but maybe not. I'm taking my time with this. I wrote like a 3-page draft last night, and then after that, I was like, you know what's a great idea right now? Let's watch the Making of Force Awakens documentary, which I only got halfway through and then I passed out.
How long is it?
Why did you say that like Colonel Sanders being kicked in the nuts?
I wasn't like. I couldn't really pay attention. I feel like there's like 4 chapters, and I feel like each chapter is about like a half hour. So it's a pretty lengthy one. I'm liking it. So I only got halfway through. So I went to bed at like 3, and on Wednesdays in the morning, I'm supposed to drive my girlfriend Alyssa to work because she usually uses the car. But on Wednesdays, I gotta usually pick either you or both of you up.
Yeah.
So it was like impossible for me to wake up at like 7.
Yeah.
And Alyssa was like, I'm just going to take an Uber. And I felt super bad. And then I had an alarm. Like I had an alarm for 7. And it was like impossible for me to wake up. And I couldn't do it. And then I have another alarm at 8:30. That's the like sort of the Leo alarm that comes on every day. Is my 8:30 alarm, and I totally slept through that, and I woke up at 10, which is usually the time I'm leaving the house to go pick one of you two, or mainly you up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why we're recording a little late. I'm a little tired, but you know what? I enjoyed myself last night. Fuck it.
Watching Star Wars stuff.
Documentaries.
Streams.
Dude,
Star
it's a really
Wars.
fun. It's a really fun documentary. I should have you come over and watch it at one point.
It's the first one that's not just Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen sword playing.
Like,
okay,
like
that was a very
choreography.
different video. That was in the deleted scenes. The sword play.
Oh yeah, I watched the deleted scenes of Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
Meh.
What about you, Henry? What have you been up to this week other than like the 2 days with me?
Let's see. What have I been up to? Pretty much nothing.
Like nothing.
Hanging out with people. I had my Smash party.
Oh yeah, how was that?
It was fun.
That's cool. Yeah, I had to work that day, so I couldn't come hang out, which was sad.
One point it was we got tired of Smash for a bit, so we started playing Rock Band.
Oh god.
Everyone there's permanently scarred by me singing moves like Jagger now.
Pretty weird. We played a lot of Rock Band for the past couple of days. We did like a full like set yesterday, and then the day before that we were playing
we had like
bunch
such
of
a big
random
crowd,
songs.
you know, like
It was-
whatever,
yeah,
no big deal.
the crowd was great. Like a lot of people came out. It was like
yeah,
there's a lot
Roger
of
was
love.
there.
Yeah.
Rogers came to our house and was like, "Woo!" and then
Yeah.
left.
Yeah. We rocked the shit out of it though. It was like the crowd came out, they were really good. A lot of love for our hometown over here. We played that Opeth song.
You
which is
guys were
ridiculous.
opening for you guys were opening for that the one underrated band that you text for, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And, the Raytones.
The Raytones, yeah.
No, we're opening for the Couch that night. I was like, it was a great band. We're opening up for was it They Might Be Giants covering what?
Chumbawamba.
Yeah, Chumbawamba. It's like the last thing we watched before you got there. We're in the middle of that. It was great. I get knocked down.
But
I get up again.
Down.
Well, it's
You
good
sing
to
the
catch up with you guys. I feel like I barely got to talk to you. I've been working so much this last week, so
Yeah. I wish I was working more.
yeah.
I'm over it.
I wish my family was
It's
still
okay.
here.
I wish my family.
Ladies and gentlemen, this if you I'm fucking tired. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know that this is Talking Shit. Talking Shit is a weekly fuck, I can't talk today. Let me just reel back here.
Is it time for some vocal warm-ups?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, this is Talking
Shit.
Shit, a weekly podcast where the three of us bring in random topics of discussion, and we talk some shit about those topics. If you like that, head on over to patreon.com/BGG, where you can throw us $1 to get every full episode early and an exclusive episode every month, which is a good deal. You're getting every episode for about 20 cents. It's a good deal. But if you don't like good deals or simply can't afford them, that's okay. You can head on over to youtube.com/BetaZonaGamers. The following week, where Talking Shit is rolled out topic by topic, Monday through Thursday, before the entire episode is released over on our SoundCloud page. Now, this is the question. Will we ever be on iTunes?
No.
No. You want to know why?
Because
We suck.
fuck iTunes.
So I actually
We will
tried.
be exclusively on Spotify.
I did the whole test thing. Like you got to go through like fucking through hoops and shit just to get your podcasts on like the iTunes podcast portion. So got like my RSS feed like worked out and all this shit, and I sent it to iTunes, and within an hour they had sent, and this was like a month or two ago.
Did you send a video saying you fucking blow?
Well, like within an hour they rejected it, and they don't really give a reason why. They just reject you, and they're just like, all right, have fun.
They're like, fuck
And so
you.
I was like, that's weird. Like, I wonder if I did like one of the technical things wrong. But no, it's actually because our podcast is titled Talking Shit. There's not allowed to be a swear word in the title of your podcast, even if you mark your podcast as mature content.
I love things, websites, and programs that try to pretend that we live in a perfect world where nobody cusses or anything. Like, you're fucking stupid.
I mean,
And
it's
like,
like-
they're so they're so paranoid about words that if you try to type Scunthorpe, they get angry.
Yeah, it's like we live in 2006 where every other little kid says fucking shit all the damn time.
No, we live in 2016.
2016, what did I say?
2006.
It's fucking early as shit.
Welcome
It's
back.
like if we're
to
back
the
in 2006, fuck that.
So how
man.
about that new debut Arctic Monkeys album?
No, but we live in 2016 where every other kid knows how to say like the worst things imaginable, and to think
And they're
that,
sometimes they're not even swears. They just know how to say the worst things.
yeah, and it's
Like,
just
do you value your teeth?
yeah, that's stupid for a company to say some shit like that or to
Well,
do
no,
something
it's
like
just
that.
like their guidelines. It's like I started like reading through like the guidelines and like what could get you rejected, and that was one of them. It's like no swear words in the title of like what the podcast is called, which I think is so fucking dumb. Because like you have like bands who probably have swear words in like the in their title of the band, you know,
What, you
cock
don't-
spar,
Yeah.
cock.
Well, you
know?
don't have the entire collection of anal cunt on your computer.
And then like there are bands that have like swear words in the album title or in song titles and shit.
We should
I don't
rename our
They'll
podcast.
just slam it with like explicit and let it go on there.
We should just
Yeah.
have we should retitle the iTunes ones "Talking Poopy."
Who's that? Who's that teacher in Harry Potter who wears all the pink and they make him write with the
Dolores
quotes, though?
Umbridge.
Yeah, Umbridge.
So she's the one running iTunes right now. She just doesn't.
No swearing.
No swearing.
No. So
Now carve the blood.
for the first topic, I want to talk about something. It's actually a couple things that have happened this last week. And I talked a little bit about it in the last episode of BZG News.
Are we still
So-
talking about Zack Snyder?
No,
Yep.
no.
Yep.
A couple weird things happened, especially with Nintendo of America and one of their former employees, Allison Rapp, where she is sort of like a spokesperson.
Nintendo
Or-
Tree Clubhouse or
Or
Treehouse.
Treehouse, yeah. She's like a spokesperson for Treehouse. She used to do Treehouse streams, and
all these don't sound like actual
but she's
companies.
also like she also sounds like she's also like a project manager and just like does like
And a managed projector.
so Xenoblade Chronicles X and Fire Emblem Fates, when they were released, like how they were originally created in Japan.
Yeah.
And then when they came over here, like things had changed about those games. I think Fire Emblem Fates had when you make your character in that game, or it could be Xenoblade. I don't fucking know. These are games that I don't play or whatever.
That's how you pronounce it, Xenoblade?
What?
Xenoblade? That's how you pronounce it?
Xenoblade, yeah.
How did you think it was? Exonoblade?
I didn't think about it.
Exonoblade. X. C'est la vie.
Well, anyway, there's one of these two games had like you could customize your character, and there's a portion where you could customize how big your boobs were.
That was Fire Emblem.
That was Fire Emblem, and so
Nice.
when they brought the game over to America, they cut that part out, and so of course
Why are they judging titties though?
a lot of nerdy
Discrimination against titties.
nerdy, sadly lonely people out there
Excuse me.
decided to attack Rapp for it, who apparently had nothing to do with it.
Dude, they want their titties and they want them now.
Okay, like Allison Rapp has been known for like trying to fight for like feminism and whatnot, which is totally allowed to do. That's totally fine. But the thing was, it's like apparently she had nothing to do with the whole like taking that out of the game, and it was something like Nintendo did like by themselves. She was like sort of
Reggie walked in and
she
was like,
wasn't a-
no titty.
she wasn't against the whole like boob sort of formatting of the game.
Yeah.
But the people from Gamergate decided that she was. You know what Gamergate is? I'll explain to you what Gamergate is after this show, and it's going to make you very depressed of like the kind of community video games sort of
Wait.
create.
So the game comes out in America and they don't allow.
You can't move around them titties.
Yeah, you can't
You
move
can't do
around
titties.
them titties.
But we have Saints Row where you can enlarge your penis size.
But it's not Nintendo, is the thing.
Yeah,
That's the difference.
Yeah, Saints
Because
Row.
like if you had Saints Row and it was like you can make your titties as big as possible, no one would care because it's Saints Row and Saints Row's
Right.
ridiculous. With Nintendo, they have the whole family friendly vibe to them, so They were like, maybe we'll get.
They
to
don't
it.
know what big titties
So
are yet.
the thing I wanted to like furthering the story, the guys from Gamergate started harassing Allison Rapp for like months about this shit. And it was to the point where at one point she went on vacation. When she came back, she found out that Nintendo started looking at her social media. And because of like the harassment that she was getting, all of these guys from Gamergate started looking into her history and like private shit in her life. They like uncovered like a couple of like a report she did in college about over sexualizing children in Japan and whatnot, and they made it sound like she was for it, but really if you read the thing that she wrote, it's like she's obviously like anti over sexualizing children in Japan. And then the one that got her fired was they found out that she was moonlighting for a different company under a different name to help pay off her college debt. And Nintendo was like, okay, that's where the final straw cuts.
Actually, a lot of people are getting that last part incorrect. What really happened was they were looking into Allison Rapp and what she was doing. She was moonlighting as a cam girl who was using like her position at Nintendo and like Nintendo products as like part of her thing. And that's what Nintendo wasn't okay with.
Okay. I didn't know that part. A lot of sites leave that part out, which is very interesting.
Tell why now.
Anyway, so that happened. And even, like, I totally get the whole, like, Nintendo being upset about that part. Like, if she wants to be a cam girl on the side, so be it. But if you're using sort of, like...
Your Nintendo, like the Nintendo equipment with it.
Yeah, that's... There's obviously some shit. I just went through this. What's it called? I had to do like an hour and a half long training of this at my work. Ethics.
Being a cam girl.
Ethics and game journalism.
I mean, that's what we do at my work, man.
Don't do it with
girls.
Vans products.
So no, we had like an hour and a half long like training about ethics, and it was the
don't shove Vans up your ass.
So
and
it's
then
very,
sell them.
it's very unethical of like what she did. So I understand.
You can't put it in your butt unless you use the waterproof spray.
I understand sort of Nintendo's stance on that, but also like that information wouldn't have come out if Gamergate hadn't harassed her up the fucking ass. So there's that, and then there's two things that happen. The game Overwatch, which is coming out by Blizzard. And there's
I was showing him this, and now he's super into it.
So I saw that he showed me the trailer for the first time. I've seen like pictures of it, but I've never seen like gameplay like of it. Right. I think it looks pretty fucking cool. Yeah. I like the animation. It's mostly the animation that I think does it justice.
So there's a character on that in Tracer in that game where she had like a victory pose. It was like her doing this. And she was standing on one leg, and the other leg was like sort of up, and she's looking back, and you see her butt a little bit. And of course, people got offended by this butt. It's not like an over-sexualized butt. It's not like they're putting too much focus on the butt.
I'm gonna see if I can find it for.
It's not like
it's just a butt, and it's just there.
It's not like that, where it's just like very over-sexualized.
And so people started complaining about it, and Blizzard took it down. They're like, that's not like the original pose, like vision we had for the character, and a lot of people were upset by that. And then
here it is.
Jesus.
And then Blizzard came out.
Wow, that's like not even a butt, really. It's like just butt. I don't like,
that's not even a butt, really.
It's just butt.
It's not butt. It's butt.
Or no, that's not. This is the original stance
like,
where she's.
Stupid.
She's like standing on like on both legs, but the new one, they came out with her new victory pose, like, and it's her standing on one leg, looking back, and the butt's still there. Oh. So I want to talk about that one. That's the new pose. Like people thought that Blizzard was giving in to like people being upset about the butt, and then they're like, oh no, that's just not the pose that we wanted to do.
Yeah.
So anyway, I want to talk about sexism in video games. And the video game community and the video game industry.
Just video games.
Yeah, just in video. Obviously, sexism is a very big topic throughout our entire world and in our entire life. But I wanted to focus a little more on video games since those two stories sort of popped up this last week.
Right. Video games.
We are the wrong people to talk about this.
Huh?
We are the wrong people to talk about this.
Why? Because we're white guys?
Yeah. Calling the woman folk.
We are white guys?
I mean, you're half white.
Still.
And
you try to hide that fact all the time, but you still are.
Hey, that half was voting for Trump. That's pretty white.
That is true. My dad's the devil.
So, I don't know. I think it's upsetting, of the whole... Here's the weird... I have a lot of thoughts. My one thing is of, I want to start with the Overwatch, the butt first. Of people don't want over-sexualized female video game characters. I totally get that. Was Overwatch really the place to do that?
No, because here's the thing. When people are having this mode where it's like, they see over-sexualization when it's not happening. Because they want to see it.
They want to see it. They want to be angry about it.
It's like when people were angry about the cover to Nevermind by Nirvana. And it's like, you're getting offended by baby dick.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's like just having a character who has where it's like you can see her butt covered by pants.
Yeah, exactly.
And you think that's sexual? That's
really, you know what? You can see
shows
both of
more on you.
Yeah, you can see the Fallout character's butt covered by pants in Fallout.
Exactly. You can see Nathan Drake's nice ass.
Yeah. That is such a nice ass.
I don't know. I think it's people, like Henry said, that they're just trying to find something to get mad about.
Yeah.
They're trying to start up conversation. They want to start shit pretty much and have something to complain about. No one talks about that when they over-sexualize a male character, making them this.
I was thinking about the over-sexualizing male characters.
Almost less than maybe 20% of Americans actually have that figure of ridiculously buff, perfect. You know what I mean? I think it goes both ways, and people
but I don't think it goes nearly it's another side for males, and none of us obviously look as attractive as Nathan Drake does.
No, excuse me.
Well, I'm not saying a Nathan Drake type of situation. I'm talking
just
Marcus Phoenix. No one has a head that small.
Once
once
they started redesigning Superman and shit, just stuff like that, where it's just well, I understand for a character like Superman, but you get what I mean,
or Batman,
something like that, where it's just overly perfect in a way. I think people just
Namor.
I think people sure. I think people.
I love that you went along with his comment.
Sure. I think it's just easier to shoot on the female part of it because that's
because I think it's more obvious. The male side of it, I think, is not nearly as much to complain about because it's a weird thing, right? Street Fighter 5, the character who wears the blue.
Dude, fucking everybody in Street Fighter is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
everybody,
especially my main man Rufus.
That's the weird thing is that some of those one of the takedowns in that is this guy getting his face smashed by two butts, which is the best thing ever. People don't get upset about that, but they get upset by this little picture of she has a butt.
I'll say it again.
People are offended the fact that she has a fucking butt.
I'll say it again. If it gets them off a little bit too much, it's easy to complain about, and they'll fucking do it. Because the truthful part of it is they're going off complaining about it, but later on they're going to be in their house alone observing it, trying to find something else to complain about while they're fucking touching themselves. That's what's happening.
So the one thing I want to talk about is the double standard of the Overwatch character is not over sexualized whatsoever. She has a fucking ass, and people just want to censor that. People want to censor that art that Blizzard has
typical
made.
Yoga pants butt that's everywhere now.
It's saying that it's if you were saying oh, Chloe from Uncharted's over sexualized, and it's no, Chloe just looks like a person.
Sexy.
Yeah.
Why do you want to fuck polygons?
Anyway, but then you have the other side. So women want to censor a butt from Overwatch. That's a cover butt. It's a covered butt. It's not over sexualized. It's just fucking there.
It's not a naked butt. It's not like a butt with a thong, a G string going down it.
But then they want to free the nipple. What the fuck is up with that shit? Let's censor this very non-sexualized butt, but then we need to free the nipple.
I think the thing that's happening with that is that it's coming.
I know it's free the nipple is not video game.
No, but here's the thing
whatsoever. But
the thing is that like people always assume like, oh, feminism is all just like this one branch of thought.
Yeah,
but it's like extremely splintered, and those are two different groups because you got like sex positive feminism and sex negative feminism,
both having their own extremists.
Yeah,
as well. So
I think extremists for everything now. I fucking hate it.
So like sex positive feminists will like going away from video games just to make this point. Like,
yeah, I'm still listening. I just gotta get up.
They'll look at sex positive feminists will look at a picture of like Miley Cyrus in concert and be like, oh, that's great because she's owning her womanhood. Like, she's doing this on her own volition, apart from any like male influence.
Yeah.
And then you'd have a sex negative feminist who would be like, oh no, she's still doing it for like male attention.
Right.
Like we shouldn't have her like that. Like there was this group where their entire thing was like they were a conservative group that was like the moral guardians kind of thing, where they're like, we can't have like semi-naked people on TV, no kissing, no references to pregnancy. And I think either a few years ago or just last year, they rebranded themselves as a feminist group.
Wow.
Yeah. Because now they can just pass off as part of the sex negative feminist group.
Yeah.
And so people are like saying that it's confused in that way, but really it's just like these two completely different branches of thought. It's like saying that like, well, liberals are like we should be able to smoke weed, but then I don't know. I forgot where I was halfway through that, but it's like,
but yeah,
not everyone who's a liberal is the same kind of liberal.
Exactly. Like we were just talking about the other day, where like there's the three different kinds of
liberal,
of liberal, and like all three of them have completely different stages, completely different states of mind, and borderline passes like completely different political parties in a way.
Yeah,
because of how drastically different their train of thought is.
Like, to me, what really matters when it comes to, like, we should, like, cover up this, that's okay, is it all comes down to, like, context and who created it.
Yeah.
So if you had someone like let's say Cliff Basinski,
mm-hmm.
like, he has a character in his game that's, like a female character who's hypersexualized. Like, you can make a point of arguing, like, she's over-sexualized because Cliffy B is like that traditional like macho male kind of guy, even though I don't think he'd be the kind of person who'd do that because he openly supports Anita Sarkeesian and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's something you could argue with. But then there are the people who are angry about Bayonetta, even though Bayonetta was specifically created by the character designer as like, and the character designer was a woman, as like, this is like my personal power fantasy.
Right.
It's like someone drawing Batman muscular.
Right.
It's like a guy drawing Batman muscular. It's like, no, this isn't sexual. It's just who would I ideal myself
who
to
fits
be.
for the role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good thoughts.
So like it all comes down to like it all comes down to like context with it.
Yeah.
Like people oversimplify this, so it's just like front layer, subtext. But then it's actually like front layer, context, subtext, deeper subtext.
Yeah.
Like it's not like it's more of a deep dish than a thin crust. I'm hungry.
That was great.
No, yeah, those were really good thoughts, and I'm a little worried right now because
you don't know how much space is on it.
No, I know exactly. There's 5.5 hours of space on that.
Damn, we can just
the problem is that so there's only apparently a minute that's been recording, and so I'm a little worried that it only records in like 5 to 10 minutes and then just stops and then starts recording again, which I'm a little worried about. But we're gonna keep going.
Weird.
we're gonna keep going, and if I have to like edit, like splice all of those pictures together, then fuck it, fine. I'm a little worried.
It loses my whole monologue.
No, it was filming during that entire time. It was just, I'm a little worried.
That's why you were just looking at it.
Yeah. I might go back to it in a couple minutes just to be sure.
I was gonna get up to get water. I can go check it.
Anyway, I think the sort of the overgeneralization is a problem. But let's move the conversation over to sort of just like sexism in the industry and sort
it's definitely there.
It's there, but I think it's also not as bad as people make it out to be, because there are a lot of women who actually work and are leaders of games. You know, Amy Hennig is the leader of for Uncharted 1 through 3, and she's now working on that Star Wars game. So I don't know. There's like a weird like misconception that, you know, no women work in the video game industry.
It's because people are saying like, oh, there's no women in the industry. But the thing is that there's no women in the industry that are massively huge names in the general population. Like when it comes to nameable names in video games, like it's a very small group compared to a lot of industries, even like internet personalities. Like you have like Shigeru Miyamoto and Hideo Kojima.
Yep.
And then like I can't think of anyone who's like on that same level as those two.
And then the list goes on.
And then like further down you get like people that like some people are like, oh, I've heard of them, like
Cliffy B.
Like you'd get Cliffy B or John Carmack, John Romero.
Yeah.
Like people like that.
Max Romero.
Max Romero.
Game.
Guest of Talking Shit.
But like,
friend of the show.
But like beyond that, it's like
personal friend.
Even the names that are like super big in the gaming industry, in like the gamer sphere. I hate the word gamer.
Yeah.
It's a stupid word. It's like, I watch films. I'm a filmer. but like even names that are super big names among like people who are super into video games, like Gunpei Yokoi, people outside of that area wouldn't know who Gunpei Yokoi is.
Yeah.
Even though he's possibly, besides Shigeru Miyamoto, the most influential person in games since he invented the Game Boy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a weird thing because video games
I hope I'm getting his name right now.
The video games are still a very young thing.
Very.
And so there are only like 2 or 3 names that like everybody knows. And
yeah, you know, Shigeru Miyamoto and Hideo Kojima.
Yeah, and the reason that they're both males is because, you know, they were sort of at the beginning of...
Yes, Gunpei Yokoi. He also invented the Game & Watch.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. So yeah,
as in Mr. Game & Watch. Yeah. So of course, like almost, it's like a tale of old as time of like almost every industry has been started by men and ran by men, and without any woman, they try to push women out of it.
Yeah.
So of course, like the 2 big names that we know were from like sort of the era of like sort of the beginning of video games. So even like a lot of people this generation are hardly known, you know. Cliffy B a little bit, not to that level, you know. He's just known because, you know, he made Gears of War and says mean things about Olivia Munn on Twitter.
Oh yeah, that was a thing. But
anyway, the thing is like video games are still young, so it's not even like just women who, and I hate comparing the whole like, oh, men don't get like their fair share of like recognition as well, but it is like a very weird young thing where it's so in early stages, and we have yet to have like one big person from our generation of video games to come out and be like, I fucking run this shit, sort of.
Yeah, like,
I think the closest thing
who runs Bethesda.
I think the closest thing we've got to that is Todd Howard.
I fucking love Bethesda, and I don't fucking know that shit.
Todd Howard and also Neil Druckmann, who is the head of Naughty Dog at this point, ever since Amy Hennig left. But even then, like, I think those are the closest things we get to, but they're still not even to the tier of Miyamoto or Kojima. So,
man, is that what you're trying to say? That it's like, it's not that it's not just women, but it's like
it's just such our generation.
It's such a young industry that there's barely anybody.
Video games are the most anonymous form of media because, like with everything else, you know exactly who made it. But I can't tell you who made Final Fantasy or Sonic the Hedgehog or Pokemon. Like franchises that people love, I don't know who made them.
Like people for like movies and stuff get like camera time, and we get to know like the little bits of like these things. Like, but when it comes to games, it's very like behind the curtain. Like they don't get as much recognition as
like who directed this movie? Oh, John Carpenter. Who directed this game?
Because they get so much media time that it's so easy to like point out a face when it comes to the movies and stuff.
And you know, like the movie industry used to not be like that. It used to not be like, let's look at like who directed this movie. No one gave a shit who directed this movie. That's why they put the credits in the beginning of movies, just so because they know that like literally no one's gonna stay for the credits at the end, and no one is going to even know those names. So it was like the closest way they could get to any sort of recognition. So, and then it took time for people to make film directors and producers and screenwriters like popular.
Like I feel like Orson Welles was the first one, because before that you had like D.W. Griffith or Cecil B. DeMille, who were big names, but Orson Welles was the first one to like put himself in front of the movie.
Right.
There you go. Sexism in video games.
Orson Welles.
The way you said it,
Transformers.
The way you said that sounded like it should have been like in the beginning of a chapter in LA Noire in black and white. Sexism in games.
All right, let's take
lipstick murderer.
For audio listeners, I'm not gonna cut out any of this audio because this will be interesting. I'm going to reset the camera. Okay. I'm a little worried. It's been taking like 10-minute cut videos, and I'm going to try to figure out how to make one long continuous video. I know it's an option. So I'm going to stop the camera and try to restart it.
All right.
Talk amongst yourselves. All right, we're back for video listeners and audio listeners. We're recording, if you couldn't tell in this first topic, we're recording with a new camera. We're trying to get adjusted to it. It's like a 170-degree angle, so we're trying to figure out like.
Sorry if we suddenly look smaller to you.
Yeah, we're testing shit out. If I really hate it, I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to deal with it this week, and then we'll try to figure something else out for next week. But also, we figured out that this camera records in 30-minute spurts. But it seems like they're seamless cuts.
Just like my wife.
Like it'll record for a half hour and then like automatically start recording the next video. I was scared that I was like recording for like 20 minutes or something and then taking like a couple seconds to like restart recording. But it doesn't seem like that. It seems seamless. So hopefully this first topic hasn't been fucked. Anyway, sexism in video games.
That is what we were talking about.
Did we finish that topic?
I say we did.
I had some more thoughts when I was moving my car outside, and then I totally fucking forgot what I was gonna say. I would just say like, there's back to like sort of the censorship of like over sexualized characters. I understand that to an extent. But also, video games are art in a sense, even if they're super silly, like there's Street Fighter V. You know,
video games are art, even if you can't determine the size of the titties.
So I think it's weird yes, women want to be represented better in all sorts of media, not just video games, and I think. Wow, Ricky's very done with this topic. He's like, fuck this topic.
I'm fucking
this.
stretching, man.
I don't care about women at all.
I'm just stretching, man.
And I totally understand that. I totally get that. And, you know, there are some weird artists out there. You know, there are artists who like to make their women in Street Fighter V really, really Just boobs out, butts out, guns out.
That's the way I like to
fuck. So, there are people who like to do that, and there's like what's the fucking like extreme
beach volleyball, Dead or Alive,
beach extreme 3 or whatever. I was watching Game Grumps play through that the other day. I was like, oh my god.
You mean a good game?
I actually bought that thinking it was a fighting game, and then I was just like, oh fuck.
Nah, they were like boobies.
So now forever on my PlayStation Network account, it just says purchased under that.
So like you have games like that, and the new one, the Extreme Dead or Alive, is not coming to America.
It's not so extreme.
Because
they're all nuns now. Go long, Sister Margaret.
I can understand if you want better representation of women in video games, but I don't think you're ever going to be able to stop those type of video games, And it's hard to make the argument that those games are art, but in a way they are. And you can't stop the
funk.
I'm having trouble no, please be serious for a couple minutes here and not be jackasses for at least a couple minutes of there are grotesque pieces of paintings and whatnot. And you don't try to censor those, and I'm not saying modern paintings, but I'm saying in history those weren't censored. People just chose to not look at it or look at it, And I think that's the same thing for video games. Of if you want better representation of women in video games, great, fight for that, and get into the video game industry and make a game about strong female characters. That's fucking awesome. I will definitely play that game, but you can't control other artists and what they want to do. I think.
Is that what you believe?
I do believe that.
That you can't control other artists and what they want to do?
Yeah, that's what I believe.
That's a good thing to believe in, bro.
It is a good thing. But that's the thing is people people don't want games like that to come over here because it's too dirty, it's too graphic. But it's fucking, in a very loose term, it's art. And if you try to censor that, that's fucking bullshit. So
I think everybody's...
And it's not art that's everybody's going to agree with, and that's the point of art. Not everybody's going to agree with it.
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to want adjustable titty sliders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the right people will.
I think everybody's super fucking sensitive now. Super fucking
Y'all a
sensitive.
bunch of fucking babies.
Everybody's turning into a fucking bunch of very unrealistic babies that try to either... hide whatever the reality is of shit.
Hide whatever they personally don't want to see, and then impose that on hella other people.
It has a lot to do with that. A lot of it has a lot to do with religion and a bunch of other bullshit. I just think everybody is super unrealistic about shit and are honestly becoming a bunch of pussies that don't...
Fights Obama, pussy.
that get fucking mad over fucking everything nowadays. It's just a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sexism in video games.